What's going on, everybody? Good morning. And we're going to slow things down just a little bit today. We finished up with the wide receiver draft stuff yesterday, and I'm going to pull back just a little bit for today for a couple different reasons. One, we've been going pretty hard at it for a while now, and we've got a little bit of time to play with here because I started early this year. So we don't need to pound on the draft prospects every single day on this channel to get through. Second, we're actually doing a special B&B or Talking Seahawks with the Hawks Nest show this afternoon. So, for those of you who aren't already aware, today at 1 o'clock, me and Brandon of the Hawks Nest will be going live on both our channels, his and mine, and also X and Facebook and Twitch, etc., etc., etc. So we're going to talk about interior offensive linemen, mostly guards, some center stuff as well. This is what we need to do to be able to get everything done. But since I'm going to be streaming in the middle of the day on YouTube, then I think it makes sense to not have videos getting uploaded while those streams are going on. So I'll let the stream, because I know it's going to be an interesting stream for people, because people actually really want the Seahawks to attack the interior offensive line in the draft, much more so than receiver or running back. So that's probably going to be a stream that people want to come out for. That's a stream that people are going to want to get information from. And beyond all that, I just don't want other not related videos to be like competing with it. So we'll get back to the draft stuff tomorrow. So today we're not going to deviate from the draft stuff. Don't get me wrong. That's really the only thing going on right now that is worth talking about 98% of the time. So I want to talk instead in this video about the early indications of what the Seahawks might be looking at in this upcoming draft. So instead of doing prospect stuff today, let's kick the day off with a look at the Seahawks 2024 top 30 visits. So we've got first an article from Field Goals that kind of puts it all together in one place, which is nice. Obviously, this information's been known for a while. Most of this stuff is common knowledge at this point, but I want to take a look at the body, the full breadth of work so far done by this front office in trying to prep for the upcoming NFL draft. So, Seahawks have top 30 visits with so far 7 guys that I know of. I think there were a couple others that were rumored, but I haven't seen anything concrete. And they therefore would have 23 left to go, if that is the accurate number. The Seahawks do have a pretty decent track record of utilizing top 30 visits on players they end up picking. Not always, but a decent percentage of the time. So we may very well see a couple future Seahawks in this group this year. So let's go over some of the guys they've been visiting with so far. And these are the guys who come into the facility, right? You get 30 visits of people coming into your facility. Obviously, you're meeting with way more players. You can go to their pro days. You can talk to them at the combine. There are all kinds of ways to meet players and discuss things with them. But these are the top 30 visits, which I think implies a certain level of interest, but maybe also a certain level of uncertainty, right? Like last year, the Seahawks used a top 30 visit on Jalen Carter. And we know they had the opportunity to take Jalen Carter in the draft and chose not to do it. So I think it's possible that they were intrigued by the possibility of drafting Jalen Carter, but they also had questions. If there was another player that maybe they didn't have questions about, you wouldn't need so much to pull that guy in for a top 30 visit. And I think that what they saw in that top 30 visit probably informed their eventual decision to not draft him. I think that it had an impact. I think they maybe didn't like what they saw. So anyway, the top 30 visits so far, Nathaniel Watson, linebacker, heads this list. And we also had Tyrese Knight, linebacker from UTEP. So 2 linebackers. Neither guy projects to be drafted all that high. I believe I talked about both in my linebacker series. And neither guy is somebody that I'm over the top excited about. I liked Knight. I'll say that. I think Knight might be a potential good value get in day 3. He might be a late day 3 guy too, so you could probably get him with a very low leverage pick. Nathaniel Watson, I don't remember thinking a ton of, but we need to kind of fill up the entire linebacker room. We don't have any area of the linebacker room really well taken care of long term. We have 2 starters on rookie on 1-year deals, and we don't really have any up and coming rookies. We don't have any promising guys on rookie deals or anything like that. No, it's just like the whole thing is kind of weak. Excuse me. Grayson Murphy, defensive end from UCLA. Haven't had a chance to look at the edges that much in this draft yet, so I don't know what's going on with Grayson Murphy yet. I will definitely discuss him when the Edge series comes up in the coming, I think, couple of days. Malachi Corley, who we've actually talked about a little bit over the last couple of days because we just did receivers, he's really fun. He, to me, is a second-round guy, and I know people are going to say, oh, we don't need to be taking a receiver at number in the second or third round or whatever, but again, leave yourself room to be surprised. Leave yourself room for the team to do something that you're not expecting, and understand that Malachi Corley is a really good, fun player. A little bit of Debo in there, a little bit of DK in him. Really, really good player. Go back and watch my draft video if you want to know a little bit more about him, or just plain look him up. He's good. Christian Boyd, nose tackle guy. I did talk about him a little bit. Wasn't crazy about what I saw. I do view him as a UDFA, but UDFAs are sometimes the guys that you look at in the top 30 visits as well. 2 years ago, we had Onu Giogu in for a top 30 visit. Eventually picked him up on UDFA. And we also had Drake Thomas in for a top 30 visit and claimed him as a UDFA. So it's possible that a guy like Christian Boyd might be somebody that we're looking at nose tackle after the draft. I don't think we're going to draft him, and I don't think we should. And also, realistically, we don't have room for a nose tackle on the 53-man anymore. We probably have room for one on a practice squad. So maybe Christian Boyd becomes your practice squad nose tackle. That might be all right. And the final guy, and this one's really interesting because I missed him when I did my quarterback evals, John Rise Plumlee, quarterback from UCF. Seahawks fans are starting to buzz a little bit about Plumlee. There's been a little bit of hype here. He's not expected to be drafted all that high, but some people like him. And odds are good when we get to the end of the draft process and I have to kind of circle back on this. I'm probably going to have to look at Plumlee because there's starting to be a decent level of interest there. So I don't know what to say about him yet. I haven't looked at him yet, but I'll get the opportunity to and see if there's maybe something there. Again, we have 2 quarterbacks on this roster right now. So a third quarterback would probably be a guy we're looking to put on the practice squad. And you can only get a quarterback to the practice squad if he's not overly desirable. So a guy like Plumlee, you could stash. You're not going to be able to stash the better quarterbacks in this draft, or even the mediocre ones. So those are the 6 guys that we've had in so far. There is one guy that we're going to have in soon, imminently. This has been reported from a bunch of different places, but Seahawks Wire on Twitter has it here, or X, excuse me. Theo Johnson, top 30 visit for Theo. And I talked a little bit about Theo when we were going through tight ends way back, probably, what was it, a month ago? He's very interesting, let's put it that way. Phenomenal physical specimen. Another Penn State dude that just owns the combine. Not very productive in college. Didn't have a quarterback. Some workout warrior signs in his game where maybe he's just a guy who can kill the underwear Olympics but isn't all that good at playing football. Or is he going to be the next in a long line of players who didn't really get all that much done in college, but circumstances affected him, and then he gets to the NFL and the circumstances allow him to run free. Right now, we could use another tight end. Now, I think that we could be okay with the tight ends that we have. You could just have George Fant be the nominal third tight end, but at the same time, it is traditional that you carry 3 real tight ends, not just one, pretend tight end for goal line sets. So Theo Johnson, he's going to be available probably around the 4th round. Maybe he creeps into the 3rd. And if the Seahawks like what they see, I can understand why. I can understand why. He's a phenomenal athlete, and there's every reason to believe he has great potential in this league. But again, we got to ask ourselves how much of it is just looking really good when you're just wearing your underwear, and how much of it is going to actually translate on a football field. All right, so to my knowledge, those are the 7 top 30 visits so far. I've seen other things rumored, but they haven't been confirmed. Like, I think there was a rumor we had Byron Murphy for a top 30 visit, but I haven't seen it official anywhere, so not going to really get into that. But I would expect us to kick the tires on guys like that at some point. All right, let me know what you guys think. See you guys later. Go Hawks. Pretty decent crop, but I'm still waiting for the more compelling guys, right? Like, you look at this list, and then you bring in Theo Johnson. None of those guys should be the pick at 16, or even a pick in the 20s or 30s if you trade down. So if you're looking for somebody who is going to be a pick in the first round, it's going to be the guys that we haven't looked at yet. So we're still waiting for a big name to fall. All right, catch you guys later. Go Hawks. Again, streaming in 4 hours or so with the Hawks Nest to talk about interior offensive linemen. Hope to see you there. And yeah, gonna pull back on the brake just a little bit today.